Welcome to another episode of the Holistic Sister Circle. Today we have Steph Mahony with us, and Steph's life was a mess. Okay, she tells us she transformed her mess into $1 million life, and today she is obsessed with teaching people how they can do the same. Her magic lies within her powerful ability to heal people's deepest wounds so they can rise up from the ashes and create a life they truly love. Steph is a divine channel, Reiki master, holy light intuitive healer, speaker, author, and the founder of the Blueprint to Your $1 Million Life. Her mission is to heal, transform, and help women step into their purpose so they can fulfill the highest timeline of their chartered destiny. But her most coveted role is being a wife and a mom to her $1 million family. Steph, that's amazing. I'm so glad to have you
Thank
here.
you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
You're welcome. So before we get started, I know we were just chatting behind the scenes. Tell us a little bit about all the different talks and things that you're doing right now just to get the word out about your program.
Yeah, about your $1 million life. So, I have this higher calling on my life now is to show people the pathway of how to live $1 million life. And that's a life that you achieve through healing, transformation, and stepping into your higher purpose. So I created a program last year that's been going global. It's been so popular. And I've been invited to New York City a couple of times for talk shows. I was recently one earlier this month, um, participating in different women's events, speaking events, attending, healing events. I'm going to be doing an event in Toronto shortly. Miami, I'll be flying into soon. So it's been really exciting. And I think people, especially post COVID, are just really sick of being sick of it. And they're just looking for a pathway of how to really figure out, what am I meant to do here? I'm so sick of being sick of it. Like, I need to find a better place. Like, what is the pathway? So I'm here to show people the pathway.
I love that. And I'm so excited to just continue to follow you on your journey.
Thank you.
Now, you're welcome. Now, right now, we do have quite a few people who listen to the show who are just honestly where you are, right? They're healers, they are just very good at what they do, they're experts in their field. What
Mhm.
are some things that you may be able to share with them that you did to just get out your comfort zone and actually spread your message and tell your story?
Yes, I think the first thing is taking off this mask of perfection. A lot of the times we hide behind it because we try to live in this box that society wants us to be in. And we're so scared of what if people actually, what will people think if they really know how I feel, if they really know how I live, or what the things I really want to do. And that's things that I struggled with too. Like I've worked in the financial services industry in a male dominated industry for the last 20 years. And all of a sudden, I'm being pivoted into this new direction of healing and realizing that I am a channel, that I can connect to divinity. And I was like, what are people going to think about this? Like, talk about polarity, right? And I was so scared. Probably for a year, I just kept it to myself and I would just do motivational posts and say nothing about the truth. But I think it's the secrets in our life that make us sick. I was just praying. I'm like, if this is something I'm meant to do, just show me the way. Like, I have no idea how to do it. And one day I just kind of ripped off the band aid and I'm like, hi, I'm Steph. And these are all the things that I do. And I close my eyes, press post. And I was so scared about what people were going to say, if they're going to criticize me and burn me at the stake. But when I opened my eyes, I started to see hearts and love and support. And I was just so grateful because I didn't anticipate that. I think we always think of the worst and not realize that there is another place of where people do love you. And I mean, during this journey, as I grow and bloom and expand, it's not that everybody loves everything. I think sometimes when you're rising higher, you start to get a lot of judgment and criticism, but it's nothing to do with that of like who I truly am and these gifts that I was so scared to share. So I think for all of the people who are listening, step one is taking the first step. The first step is always taking the first step. And to get into alignment of who you truly are, it's being able to listen to your inner voice and figure out what is your inner truth. So then you can speak your inner truth, and then you can begin to live your inner truth. And once you get into that place of alignment, you feel this inner peace. And that inner peace is your internal compass that is going to always guide you the way.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, I was honestly just talking to someone a couple of days ago, and she was saying how, now is the time where she needs to actually start communicating what it is that she does and getting the message out. And
Yeah.
just that confidence, it was like, I don't have the confidence to take the next step. And I want to make sure that what I'm saying, people can resonate with it. And,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
totally, totally. And that's the thing, right? Like we we're so scared of judgment. And I get it because when we do sometimes step outside of the box, it's criticized because we live in the illusion of perfection, where everything's perfect, everything's cookie cutter. And I mean, even when you look inside your fridge, now there's like TikToks of like your fridge organization having to be perfect and buying the perfect carrots and the perfect like everything has to be perfect, right? So when you don't fall into what the idea of a perfect pathway is that most of society is following, you really get scared of being judged. But the thing is that when you do actually step into that place of alignment of what you were meant to do in this world, then all of a sudden you open a pathway of inspiration for other people to do the same. And
Absolutely.
that's when we can start to create real change because all the things that we're meant to do is not down there, it's up here. And when you can get that courage and choosing courage over fear, that's when you step into this place where miracles happen.
I love that. And it just goes back to what you were saying too about keeping secrets and the secrets making you sick. Like
Yeah.
that's so true. We should get a shirt that says that.
I know it's true though, right? But when you expose them, instantly that fear goes away, which is
Absolutely.
what my biggest learning was.
So tell us a little bit about the $1 million family. How were you able to get your family on board to the brand that you have today?
So, are you talking about the family that I have right now, my $1 million?
Yes, your
So, the
million
reason I
dollar
say that
family.
is, I'm finally living in a timeline of everything I prayed for that's finally come true. As little girls, especially, we pray and we have this life that we want to live. And I remember praying for it so hard. I thought this vision, is me 25 and married with a family. And I was 26 and still single. And I was convinced with 100% certainty I'd be an old cat lady, you know? And I was just in so many toxic relationships and everything that means so much to me right now, I really had to work for it. And I felt like I really had to go through the darkness of polarity and hit rock bottom before I made my way to the top. And that's why I'm so grateful for this life that I live. And it's not that I'm perfect or my life is perfect, but it's everything that I have dreamed for is finally here. I went from toxic relationships where at one point I was suicidal to like now being married to my best friend. I was told by doctors that I had infertility and that I can never have children. And now I have three miracle babies. And I was living in a place I was so unhappy with. And I felt like I was going to be stuck in forever. And now I'm living in my dream home. So when we can see that we can rise above our circumstances and we can flip timelines, that's what I've been able to do. And that's what I'm really trying to show people that you don't have to be a victim of your circumstances, that you actually have a choice and you can rise above it. And by making changes aligned to your truth and like keep pushing forward, miracles do and can happen all the time.
Wow, that's incredible. Now, could you share just I know there are probably so many people listening, like, okay, she has this $1 million home and this $1 million family lifestyle, and she's married to her best friend and now she has 3 children. Like, what were some practical steps that you took in order to really put yourself in a position to manifest what you have today in your life?
This is such a great conversation because I'll talk to you about my home, for example. And that was just the big thing that I truly manifested, that I can give people a blueprint. So my husband always wanted to live in this country home. And I'm like, that's not my thing. But he found this place he loved. And I said yes because I love him. And I was so depressed living there. I felt so isolated. And immediately on day 2 of living there, I wanted to move. And I was so bitter. I was so mad at him. I was so mad at my circumstances. I was like, I was so happy and I was so stuck in the past. And I was literally ready to give the house away just so I can move into a tiny place, just to escape it all. And what happened is that after I realized that this emotion was not getting me anywhere, I received this higher thought that what if, this isn't my house, but what if I can make this an opportunity to make it into somebody else's dream house? And with the prayer that while I'm doing this, then somebody else is making their own home a dream house for me. And this idea, this inspiration that came like right here felt really good. And I started to change my perspective about it. So I looked at this house that I hated, and then I flipped the scenario and I was like, I'm going to look at this and make it into somebody's beautiful dream home. I know this is not for me, but that's okay. So I turned this like negativity into a place of love. And that's what I'm saying. No matter where you are in your life, if you can flip it and change your perspective about it, everything changes. So I looked at it. I started making plans. We completely renovated it. When I was choosing colors, I'm like, I wonder what these new people are going to like. Let's choose this floor. Let's do all these things. And it was really with this pure intention to make somebody else happy. And I knew that as I was doing that, my prayer is that somebody else was doing the same thing to make me happy one day. So the time finally came where we're finished, and I knew I started to take a look around to see what was available. And the problem is that everything that I was looking for was like $2 million. And I'm like, the problem is I can't afford a $2 million home. Like, I don't have $2 million. So this thought came again to my mind. Why don't you write it down, where you can write down what it is that you truly desire, as if money wasn't an issue? And I was like, huh. So I did that. And I took a fresh new piece of paper, which is I'm telling you to do, fresh new piece of paper. And in my story, I rewrote I wrote my dream home with my family. And I began to write all of the things that I truly desire in this new home that made me happy. And to be honest, there were some things that were material. I'm like, yeah, I like this type of room and this type of room, but most of it was based on emotion. I was saying, for example, I feel so happy and excited hearing little hands knocking on my door, wanting to play with my children. Because at the time, we were living in a country home that had no children that lived there. And then I would start to say things like, I always felt so isolated, and I'm so happy and grateful how I feel like I'm close to everything. I feel like I'm in the core of everything. I live on a cul-de-sac, and it makes me so happy to watch all the neighborhood kids play. So I was really set on this feeling of what I wanted to experience. And I even showed it to my husband. I'm like, look at her dream house. I'm like, am I missing anything? And then he's like, yeah, how about this? I was like, okay. So I wrote it, I dated it, and then I put it in my nightstand, and I never looked at it again. And about 6 months later, this is, through this journey of looking, all of a sudden there was this home that popped up. completely underpriced for what it was based on the markets and how things were going. And my husband's like, let's just go see it. I'm like, no, like, there's just no way. Being the person of faith that I am, I'm like, we can never afford it, you know? And anyways, then we ended up finding it and it worked. Like, so we got like our $2 million home, not for $2 million. And it was like a complete miracle. And I still don't even know how the math works, but a miracle happened to us. So what I'm trying to say for all of us is that we really have to come from this place of victimhood, of living in the past and bitterness, and learn that we have to flip that before anything changes. Our emotion about what we feel about it needs to change first. So I had to take this emotion from feeling bitter and like a victim, because I did, into this place of like, okay, you know what? I've accepted the circumstances. Now I'm going to pour love into this to make somebody else happy. And that's literally what I did. So I had to do that with myself when I was in toxic relationships and accept that I was looking for the wrong people. And I'm like, I'm just going to learn to make myself happy. And I poured love into me on a moment by moment basis. I kept doing little things that brought me joy. And that brought my vibration higher. And I started to see the world through a different lens when my vibration was higher. And I started doing things for other people and perceive how, the things I truly desired in a relationship versus what was material. And looking back, like really, I don't know, what would you call that? Like superficial. So I think like when you can change any circumstance um, by shifting what you're focusing on, flipping it and looking not from just a positive place, but only looking at the cherry on top. And when you do that, the universe actually repatterns itself to bring that to you.
That is so powerful, Steph. Thank you for
Mhm.
sharing that with us. Because I know, I mean, we're in a time right now where people aren't dreaming the same way anymore. It's like all of these things are happening, and what are we going to do here? And what are we going to do there? But it's like, hold on, wait a second. Take
Yeah.
that moment and figure out, like, what can you do right now to at
Yeah.
least get you on the path to where it is that you want to be? So I certainly appreciate that. Now, I
Mhm.
know we only have a few more minutes left with you. So I would love for you to share with us more about just the $1 million lifestyle and the program that you currently have for your clients, and what type of breakthroughs have you seen that you can share with us since
Absolutely.
they've been working with you?
So the Blueprint to Your $1 Million Life is a program that was channeled by Divinity. And what it does is actually a deep dive into a person's astrology, their own soul's blueprint of who they are and what they're meant to do in this world. So it takes a look in their past, present, and their future. So your future is your destiny, your purpose, your North Star. That's up here. Your past would be your South Star. That's your past could be 5 seconds ago or 5 lifetimes ago. But the thing is that whatever holds us back in the past needs to be healed in order for us to get to this place. A lot of this is subconscious. We don't even know that we have these things. And that's why a lot of us miscreate, because we're stuck on things that are keeping us down here. So, what this program does through astrology is identify who you were in past lives and in this life, what your main lessons are, what your karma, what the strongholds are that are preventing you from moving forward to achieving this great place of abundance. And as a divine healer, I'm able to help you identify that and heal it from your matrix, your soul matrix. And once that darkness is removed from you, new light comes in, which puts you into divine alignment to manifest and fulfill your destiny. And because I say your highest level of your destiny, there's so many different timelines that exist, and that's because we have free will. But I show people the pathway of how to get to the top so that they can feel the greatest amount of happiness, joy, fulfillment, and inner peace based on all the choices they've made to get them to where they are.
I love that. Now, if anyone wanted to connect with you further and just another deep dive on what that looks like, how can
Yeah,
they connect with you?
absolutely. I would ask them to probably just message me. And if you can post it, Steph at stephmahony.com. No E in my last name. Steph, SDEPH, and my last name is MAHONY. But if you can email me or connect with me through social media, on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok, it's at Steph Mahony as well. I'm more than happy to chat with you. I also have a website, stephmahony.com, and it shows everything. But I really like to have one-on-one conversations with people, because a lot of people think like that's great for other people, but they don't think it's possible for themselves. So the miracles that I've seen in other people is, sometimes life shifting them to the new direction and like, oh my gosh, what just happened? But it actually got them into a place where they met their soulmate. They've broken addictions. They've stepped into their higher purpose, and now they're healing different parts of the world. And it's been really full of miracles. And that's because the energy of who we're calling upon isn't of me. It's through ascended masters from Divinity that work with each person, because they know exactly where a person is. They know their own blueprint, and they help to put them into alignment. So it's a place of acceleration.
And can you talk a little bit about what is divinity? So just for people who may not understand
Yeah,
exactly what that means.
100%. So that's like angels, ascended masters, ancestors, beautiful beings of white light that love you and are bringing you to a place where you truly love your life. So ascended masters are those who have walked on this earth's plane. That would be an example such as Jesus, Buddha, and they've experienced humanity, but they've been able to balance their karma. They've been able to fulfill their purpose, and they've been able to now ascend to a higher level. Now their job on the other side is to reach down below and help us get there too. So that this program is created actually by them, channeled by them. And that's why it's full of miracles, because they're literally helping to untangle this thick web that we put ourselves in.
Literally.
Literally.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Steph, for your time. This has been a pleasure.
Thank you. It's been such a pleasure. Thank you for having me. And I just love our chat together.
Me too. Queen, thank you so much for tuning in. It truly warms our heart that you're taking the time out of your day to connect with us. If you'd like to connect with our guests further, you can find their information located in the description section of this episode. And if you found this episode helpful, share with another queen, and don't forget to connect with the Holistic Sister Circle on Instagram and Facebook. And until next week, stay blessed. Mwah.